Welcome to Tammy Nation. Let's go.
I've been running from 9 to 5, been biting my tongue for all this time. Won't let anyone cut me short. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home.
Good evening, everybody. Hey, Michelle and Susie. Welcome to Tammy Nation tonight. I told you guys I'd probably pop on after Mr. T finished saying what he had to say tonight. So here I am, and just trying to see what you guys thought about all that transpired today and what Mr. T had to say. I think I'm going to start with the speech that he just gave, or the announcement and the reaction or whatever. A lot of people are saying that it was over and over. It's the same thing he's been doing for a while now. It's no different. Well, we knew he really wasn't going to talk much about what happened today. But the fact is, I think what he's trying to do is just keep us reminded and exposed to the fact that, you know, New York State, New York City, and our government in total is really a one-party run situation. There's no political competition there, from the top to the bottom, from the judges, anybody who holds any kind of office and seat, no matter what side they're on, they all have, it seems like, one goal. It's one-sided, and that's to take him down. I think what he's trying to do is really just show us and remind us with the speech that he just gave of all the different kinds of corruption that has gone on against him and his family, along with, don't forget, small businesses and everything that happened transpired the last 2 or 3 years against the small, we the people. I think that's what he was getting across tonight. And I think a lot of people expected something different out of him. And really, he didn't. And I really expected what he had to say. And that's why I think he's just exposing everything. He keeps exposing everything, reminding us how unlevel the playing field is out there in the world, the political world, the business world, and everything else. As far as what he got charged with today, you guys, the different 34 charges basically added up to nothing more than he kept bad business records. Basically they've been going after this man, try to take him down for 7-8 years. And this is the final icing on the cake. They really have nothing but misdemeanors here. And they're trying to figure out how it got turned into felonies, because Braggs came out and was asked today, what happened that you guys are charging him now? Why didn't you before? What's the difference between then and now? And Braggs was simply saying that they have new evidence and new witnesses. He wasn't specific. He didn't say anything other than that. To me, if you saw what he had to say, he really wasn't comfortable behind the mic at all. It's almost like he was just reading from a written statement. He didn't want to answer questions, and he seemed very uncomfortable, like he couldn't wait to get away from that podium. If you're setting a precedent like they did today, I really think they shot themselves in the feet. You should have a lot more ammunition out there that you have to tell the people. You should have a lot more clarification of what happened and transpired, that you discovered, that you can actually bring this forth against a former president and somebody who is running for office coming up, because a lot of people are saying that this is interference. And you know what I mean by the interference, that it's nothing more than that. And it may come back to bite them in the foot. There was a code that Bragg brought up, and it was section 1750 Penal Code of New York. And what that penal code is what he's claiming that they used against him is a Class C felony. But it has to be fraud in the furtherance or the concealing of the commission of another crime. So to that end, Braggs doesn't cite the crime, the other crime. Also, there has to be a victim. There's no victim in this. So they would need to also, we believe, prove the underlying crime as well to charge him with this Penal Code 17510 out of New York. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. A lot of people are talking about it, professionals that are in this. Rudy Giuliani, I watched a little bit of him tonight. He's saying that basically if there's an honest judge, and even if he's not quite honest, there's really not much of a leg to stand on, that it's going to have to be tossed out, because there's so many different fallacies in this proving there's no other crime. It's not been mentioned. If you're going to charge him with that Penal Code 17510, there's nothing else that they're indicting him with that. Also, he's saying that, he didn't get due process, that there's been discrepancy there, that also Amendment number 14, that was broken as well. So there's a lot of bad stuff going on out there, according to this. When you listen to Rudy or some of these other people that came out today, I watched Steve Bannon for a little bit as well. And basically, it's just even CNN said that it's if you let's put it this way, if you don't have CNN sticking up for you, something's really wrong these days. But CNN even came out and said there's underwhelming evidence. There's nothing new. And it's the same set of stuff that's been going on for the last 7 years. So what is different? So CNN's even saying that there. I don't know. Mr. T tonight seemed relaxed, seemed fine. They didn't take a mugshot and all that stuff. And, it seemed like it was just a formality. He went in, he had to go in, he came out, and we'll see what happens with that. But really, it's really an embarrassment of what happened. And the thing is, you set that precedent. So now what's going to happen to Biden? He paid Paula Jones $800K, over $800K for her hush money. So does that set a precedent? You can line all these former presidents up and people up, and what's going to happen is you're going to have to, play fair with everybody, because what you do to one, you do to everybody, right? So when they say that, Bragg came out today, Alvin Bragg, who is George Soros backed, mind you. He's George Soros backed. So that tells you a lot as well. When he comes out and say, we're just worried about justice here in New York, and nobody's above the law, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you better have quite a long list of people that you are also going to go after for different things, because Mr. T, this basically came out to misdemeanors. There is nothing anywhere that came out with information today through Bragg or through this indictment that turns it into a felony. And you got to take this into consideration as well, that this happened in 2006. Okay. Now, nothing happened till 2016. That's when Stormy was paid off that 300 plus K. Okay. Well, in New York City, there's a 2-year statutes limit on this. So basically, this all should have expired in 2018. It all went into effect, paid off, and all this in 2016. It's 2018. It should have expired and went away. And here we are in 2023, and this is happening. Also, this payoff, they're saying, was nothing more than a nuisance claim to make her go away. So there was like I said, no other victim in this for them to charge under this 17510 penal code through New York. So there's a lot of legalities and technicalities to look into. Yes, Dog and Pony Show, Cam, that's right. So it is a lot of BS, Richard Fuhr, it's good to see you too. So that's basically what I'm taking away from this, you guys, is just it's another exposure of the lopsidedness that we have in governments. Like I said, whether you want Trump or not, whether you are for somebody else, that's not the point here. If we can step back from that frame of mind, saying it's Mr. T and he's saying the same old thing tonight, that's not what this is about. This is about exposure of how corrupt everything is and how tilted it is against the common man or the conservative people and the small business owners and on and on and on. These elites think that they can just make any rules and do whatever they want and get away with it. And Mr. T's been taking these bullets and these arrows for a very, very long time. And like I said, step away from this and think about this. Everything he has been through for the last 7 or 8 years, and this is what they have. This is what they have. This is what they've indicted him on, and he had to go and show up to court today in New York City for. I mean, this is embarrassing. You would think that that Bragg, like I said, would have way more to tell the people, to show the people, and he had nothing. He had absolutely nothing. There's no crimes. There's just we're supposed to guess on this second crime under this penal code and law that they charged him with. So there's no transparency. Are we supposed to just guess? How does he come up with a defense? How does his team come up with a defense if they're not giving details of how they've been able to lobby this up from a misdemeanor to a felony? And I say this because I put ourselves in this position. If we were to get into trouble, let's say, and go to court, we don't have the finances or the team that he does, obviously. But what does that say? What can happen to us? And what has happened to some of these people, like the J6 people, et cetera, et cetera. This is what the problem is. This is where the danger lies. And this is where we have to stay together, stay alert, and pay attention to what's going on, and not necessarily put Mr. T or Mr. B in front of it. Just looking at the unfairness that's going on and how we fix that unfairness. And we are the laughingstock of the world, Michelle. That's no doubt. I mean, how embarrassing is this? It's just humiliating. Just when you think it can't get any worse. I mean, I really expected them to have something, because, Bragg didn't even bring this up or try this back in the day when he could have. He was saying, well, since I've become in the position that I'm in, he's claiming new evidence and new witnesses or witness testimony, but he wasn't specific. So, like I said, it's just basically we're supposed to just trust that. I mean, this is a former president, and this is somebody that's running for office. So it's total insanity to me. When you look at the different technical things, you look at because it can be overwhelming to try to understand the legal stuff for sure. But you can simply look up section 17510. And it says, you can pull it up, and it's just in plain, easy text. And it says that it's falsifying business records in the first degree. A person is guilty of falsifying business records in the first degree when he commits the crime of falsifying business records in the second degree, and when his intent to defraud includes an intent to commit another crime or to aid or to conceal the commission thereof. Falsifying business records in the first degree is a Class E felony. Like I said, you can read it for yourself. You can go there and find out. This is an opinion. This is what Alvin Braggs charged him with, this penal law. And like I said, Gavin Wax came out today. He was on Steve Bannon, and he's in a part of the Republican Club. It's a New York-based Republican club in New York City. And he's saying in this city that it really is hard to find fair trials, fair anything there, because the system is set up lopsided with just one way of thinking, one way of this supposedly showing justice. And we know that it is a two-tiered justice system, and we are not really on the right side of it, apparently. You have to me, lie, cheat, steal, be bought or sold and then you get away with all these things. You can also take it further to say, okay, because our former president paid somebody off, which he didn't pay it. It came through the other guy. Mr. T claims he didn't do it, but then, it didn't go through him. It went through this other guy. The thing is, so then you've got Hunter Biden and his laptop, all the evidence that came out on that. We're going to ignore that, right? And, we all know that there's ties to different countries. We all know that there's corruption on there. We know that there's atrocities that were done to women. There's I can't say the word, but, the physical stuff that was bought and paid and sold for there. And also his daddy was, the big guy. So we're supposed to ignore all that, but we're going to pay attention to Mr. T doing what, paying off somebody. and a nuisance claim, because that's basically what they're saying. It was a nuisance payoff just to get her to go away, be quiet, knock it off. They're claiming because he didn't want to come out in the 2016, run, and he was trying to bury it. But, you could say the same thing about some of these other guys, what they have done and the things that they have got away with. And there seems to be no justice in them whatsoever. Mike Davis also came out. Mike Davis is the Article 3 project co-founder and CEO. And basically what they do is they defend different judges. He also was the former counsel nominations for Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley. And basically what they do is they preserve and protect these constitutional judges and laws and rule of law. That's what the A3P defends, is constitutionalist judges and the rule of law. And he also leads the Internet Accountability Project. It's an advocacy organization that fights to rein in big tech along with unsilenced majority. So basically this guy, he's been in the battlefield for a long time to try to find justice, to try to protect and find these judges and stuff. And I think it's pretty amazing. But he said, he came out today, he was on Bannon, and he was saying, really, this indictment, this is what he called it. He said it's weak, it's insane, it's an abomination. And he said, what is the basis? The legal basis is not an opinion whether you like Mr. T or not. What is the legal basis for making the misdemeanors into felonies? So you've got experienced people out here that are talking out on this already, saying, where's the legalities? Where's the fair legalities in this? It seems like a lot of these people, what they have done and what the charges are bringing against are really going to just bite themselves in the feet because, like I said, what comes around goes around. And, they can go and charge past presidents for other things. This precedent is really a bad idea. Like I said, Rudy Giuliani has called this e-interference. And they're just basically what they're going to try to do is build this case, let it run through the summer, and just try to taint Mr. T, take him down, affect, his campaign and affect his reputation, which is no different than they've been doing for the last 7 or 8 years or so. Classy joke, Brian Tucker, definitely. If no one is above the law, then go after Hillary and the big guy and Hunter. There's where the real crimes lie. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And you guys, it isn't about, he said, she said. I mean, we have documentation on Hunter and the laptop and all that. Alleged. Okay. He hasn't been charged, like D-Dog told me last night. I get it. I'm supposed to say alleged. We see the laptop, we see the information, but since he's not charged, we have to say alleged. And that's where it's going to stay. Also, guess what? How much money they paid New York City to indict Mr. T? Anybody got a guess of how much that cost in New York? And it's the taxpayers and going to cost. Did anybody see a number? It's pretty big. So if you want, go ahead and take a guess in it and chat, and I'll tell you if you're right or not, or close or not. Donna Hafner says, this will all help Trump's campaign and expose the corrupt justice system. The evil must go. Absolutely. I hope so. You know what? It just needs to be fair. It just needs to be absolutely fair. I don't know how hard it is to get into people's minds that I don't care if you like him or not, or if you like Biden or not. You want to look at what's fair, because what if they can do that to him? What are they going to do to us? And that's what I keep pounding into people's minds and myself, is like, you have to be involved. You have to find out what's going on. You can say you don't care, you don't want to follow anymore, you want to live your life. I get that. But you have to take a moment to say, if you're going to go and try to vote for somebody and stuff like that, if you want to do that, and it's not fair and it's not just, what is the point? Then people give up and they've won. That's what we don't want to happen. We want people that we want running and people that we vote for to get elected. That's what we want. So this is why we're in the fight that we are. And it just seems like I said, when it can't get any worse, it certainly does. It is absolutely disgusting and disturbing. Donna Hefner, you're close. It was actually $200 million they have spent so far. $200 million. Now, think about what New York could use to improve that city for $200 million. Maybe bump up the police department. Maybe, oh, it is 200K, Donna. Maybe bump up the police department, get them better equipment, maybe emergency services. Hey, maybe take care of some of the homeless that are out there. Maybe help small businesses come back instead of letting people just break in and raid CVS's and different Targets and different stores and just fill up bags full of stuff and running out. Maybe you could get more security at these stores and put a stop to it. So when you look at the big scale of some of these cities and the way that they're run and the way they spend their money, it's absolutely corrupt and it's absolutely crazy, because the priority was to spend that much money to indict him and to go after him. But the small businesses, it's too bad, so sad. We're going to give you a little bit of small business loans here and there to try to help you out. And most of them, with the sickness and everything, went under anyhow. And where are they left? Where are they left? The people that are fighting to keep you safe all the time. Remember they wanted to defund the police. How about stepping up and giving some of that money to them? So that's what I have to say is, it doesn't matter what side you're on. You want to be which left, right, middle. The thing is about the fairness. It's about safety in our communities. It's about how these people need to be held accountable of how they spend our money. And it's no wonder, supposedly our money's going to run out, right? Social Security and all that, but we still have millions, billions, trillions to send over to these foreign countries and help them in war. They want to ban our guns and everything here, but they're going to hand a bunch of guns over to these other countries so they can fight. Are you going to guarantee they aren't going to hurt innocent people? You can't guarantee that. So it is very lopsided and stuff. And I think that it's very sad. So really today, like I said, today it was just really, it shows just the decline to me in our justice system, the fairness of everything, and how they're just going to keep going after him. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see if any new information comes out so they can trump up these charges to a felony when, like I said, in New York City, it's been expired since 2018 and we're in 2023. And they're like I said, people are saying that at best it would be a misdemeanor in New York City because of the limit of statute limits reached their peak in 2018 is what I'm trying to say. Maybe it will get thrown out. There's a couple people out there, like I said, that said maybe all this will get thrown out. I don't think they're going to give up that easily, but it'll be interesting to see what Mr. T's team does from this point forward and where we go from here. But it's going to be also interesting to see the judge and how the judge reacts to all this when he looks at all the legalities of it and all the atrocities that have been broken. Even for me, I'm by far not a lawyer, and Lone Wolf, it's good to see you too, by the way. 38,000 cops and overtime pay. Yes. I mean, if I can understand some of this and take away some of this, it's not that hard. What gets hard and complicated is when these lawyers go back and forth and how they kind of slide in and are able to do this. And the next thing we know, we're dealing with this and Mr. T's dealing with it. And then we look into it just a little bit and we see, oh my gosh, right off the get-go, this isn't making any sense. And this is so wrong and so in error. So, it baffles me. But that's really all I wanted to do, guys, is come on and just give you an update on that. Like I said, I really believe in Mr. T and his speech. That's all he wanted to do is he's just going to, don't expect anything different. Don't expect those magic words. If you think a certain way, don't expect him to expose anything. I mean, he can't. So the only thing he can do is show us, so we see as he goes through the process of these things, for us to pay attention. The only thing he can do is show us how corrupt everything is, which is what he's been doing all along. And so we can make educated decisions as we move forward in our life, whether it's somebody that we are trying to vote for, whether it's the involvement we have in society, and how we're going to pay attention and how we're going to take action. And that's what he's been doing. And the people that surround him. I mean, I was surprised that, Yes, Michelle, he does expose T for the people for who they are. And it's so funny because every time you think he's losing, he comes out winning, doesn't he? And the thing is, I don't think he's been wrong so far with very much. He's warned us about a lot of things, and I know that people say, "Well, it's the cult word," or you think he's everything in a bag of chips, and that's not what it is. What it is I give the man a lot of credit for lighting a fire under our asses to realize how bad and corrupt things are, and how we can't sit back and not take action or do anything to educate ourselves to make the changes we need to make for our children, for our grandchildren, and the generations to come. That to me is what that man has done. And some people that are out there, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she to me has made a comeback in my mind, because for a while there she was wobbly. It was like came out and she was really good, and then it's like she kind of was flim-flammy about some things, and people found out some stuff about her, about investments in certain stocks and things like that, and there was some dirt that came out on her. But now she came out, she's back in the forefront. So I'm still a little bit not sure about her, but she has, in my opinion, done better. I mean, she's a rep here in Georgia, and she does fight the good fight. She was out there today. She seems to be taking action, the right kind of action. And we'll see how she fares in the long run of this, because it's unfortunate how many of these representatives that we like and that we start to find and believe in, and then they flim-flam left and right, and they change their minds, or they get bought or sold, whatever it is that happens behind the scenes that we aren't aware of. But I do know this is one heck of a game of chess in this world these days, that when you think you know something, you definitely don't. And when you think you're for sure something's going to happen, it doesn't. The only thing I know, it's when Mr. T tells us something, it does end up happening eventually. I don't think there's anything that hasn't happened that he said was going to happen. And I remember that statement that he made many years ago. And he said, remember, they're not after me. They're actually after you. And I'm just in the way. And I'll say it again. I would love to have other representatives that are out there stand up, fight hard, stay in the truth, stay in the same direction, and not flim-flam back and forth. And I'm not talking about if they were one way years ago and they're this way now. People can change, people can learn, people can grow. I just want somebody that is honest and steady in what they have to tell us as a representative. I want somebody that will be out there like Mr. T and give us a sense of direction. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, a Libertarian, an Independent. We need strong voices out there. We need direction. We need truth. And I don't see very many people out there giving us that. I don't. People get fatigued. People tire on this stuff. People say nothing's ever happening. Nothing's going to change. And that's a defeatist attitude. And I believe we just have to stand firm, stand strong, and stay in this fight. We've got too much to lose if we don't. I've said it each time I've been on lately is, if you need to take a break, take a break. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying your life. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your family, getting out in the world and having a little bit of fun and laughs. This crap's going to be here when you come back from that. But we do need our batteries to be recharged. We need to have clear thinking, clear mind, clear thought. And we need to educate ourselves. Some of this stuff, I'm going to be honest with you guys, is boring and it's difficult to understand. Some of it is, but it's not going to stop me from doing it. I just feel a passion for it. I feel like I'm in a fight for the children. That's what I've said all along. Each day that passes is just another day that some of these people are harming the children in emotional ways, mental ways, physical ways, and it's just got to stop. And we just need to not lose track of that. And that's what gives me the strength and the courage to put my face out here. I don't know all this. I'm not a lawyer. I just try to study it, read it, and bring to you what I can. I get a lot of comments in the chat that I appreciate. A lot of you are very intelligent, and you share your wisdom with me and other people. And that's what we need to do. That's what I call unifying. That's what I call having conversation and being good American citizens, standing up and standing strong together. That's what's in it for me. To put our differences aside, don't enable bad behavior, don't enable liars, cheaters, stealers, no. But put our differences aside, because in the bottom at the bottom line is, and in the end, what we all want the same thing: freedom, happiness. We want our families to be happy. We want to be able to afford a home, afford food. We want to be able to maybe take a weekend vacation with our family or put gas in the car. We don't want to have to worry about these tiny little things that turn into big, huge things. Because when Mr. T was in office, we didn't have to worry about a lot of this. And now, I mean, look at the ridiculousness that's happened over the years. The price of eggs, running out of toilet paper. I mean, for gosh sakes, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's his time to stop being the laughing stock of the world and become the power that we are. We are American citizens, and we don't give up the fight. We are strong, and I think that it's an honor and a privilege to live here. And I still have faith in this country and the people that are in it. And I believe that we're warriors and we're fighters. And in the end, we're going to be okay. We just keep fighting that fight. So that's all I had to say for tonight, you guys. I really appreciate your time and effort again and energy to be here. I know you're probably all fatigued from everything that's been going on today into tonight, but please don't be disappointed in Mr. T's speech. Please don't be disappointed in expectations. We can't have expectations. All we can do is go out there and look at the information and then absorb it, process it, and figure out what our next move is, for this country. Pray for this country. Prayer is very powerful. And that's what we need to do is pray a lot. And it's going to get us our peace of mind. It's going to give us our strength. And we'll be able to continue on for another day. So with that, love you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm going to talk to you on the next one. Bye.